Assignment of relocatable classrooms. Mr. Rogers, Mr. Lubley? Ms. Delmont Small? Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have a presentation?
We do not.
Okay. So you don't have that much time left in your allotted time, so, but,
When can I expect the answers to my questions, so I don't have to ask them again?
Make sure this is on.
Yeah, it is.
Dan Lubley, Director of Capital Planning and Construction. An email was sent to the BOE email, I believe at the beginning of this meeting.
Okay, then I'm going to hold. I'm going to go make a print of it, and then maybe I'll be back.
So if you do not have it, let us know, and we'll be happy to get you a copy of that.
Ms. Watts? Sorry. Okay, I don't see any other hands, but I'm gonna ask, and I asked this in email, so you probably answered it. The budget is for $2 million for relocatable classrooms. That's correct?
That is-
Okay.
yes.
So it doesn't seem that we'll be, with what you're asking for, it's not going to meet that $2 million. I know that the moving of the relocatable modular unit at Talbot will cost a lot of money, several $100,000. I know that it's not as cheap as it may look because of hookups and transfer and all of that. But did we look at replacing some of our old units? I know that some of our schools have units that they are using that are 30 years old, and actively being used for pullouts for GT. A lot of times it's, some of our most vulnerable kids are in those oldest relocatable. So just asking that question.
We did have a conversation with the building maintenance shop. That is a factor that is taken into account at the beginning of the relocatable report process each year. This year does add an additional caveat to that, knowing that, sorry, it keeps falling down anyways, knowing that the material availability and delivery is greatly extended. So that is a factor that comes into account when we look at replacing older units. The initial response was, while we would like to potentially replace some of the older ones, none of them are at a detrimental state that they absolutely have to be replaced this year. So that was taken into account. I would also like to note that in the FY23 budget, which has not been approved yet, it is $2 million. That did take into account additional funding for the relocation of the 12 classroom modular at Hammond. Initially, through further discussions with the construction team in the school, it has been decided to leave that there for another year. But that's one of the reasons that the increase up to $2 million was done in the relocatable line in the capital budget.
Okay, I just don't want to wait till a unit is detrimental, like it's become a hazard, and I think that sometimes what staff might think is detrimental may not be what the people inside those relocatables that have to be there 6-7 hours would think are detrimental. I know Running Brook has a 30-year-old. I know Jeffers Hill has a 30-year-old portable. So I'm just asking if we could take another look. I don't know. Do we ask people who are inside those portables what they're like, and do we look at the maintenance records and all of that? I'm sure that you do, but I have heard from people, and if we have the funding, I would really like to as much as I hate portables, I hate the old ones even more because the older they get. And I'm just waiting till they're detrimental. I think, I don't know, just asking if we can just take another look at some of the oldest units. And I know the age doesn't necessarily mean they're bad, because some of them are in great condition. I understand that. My second question, and I requested this, and maybe we can have it before we are to approve this, is the list of principal requests. I know that used to be part of the report, but just so the board has an idea of what's being asked. We have portables that are used for strings, and not necessarily a classroom, but they need it. They need the room. West Friendship, we were requesting one for instrumental, I think, and so I think it would be important to see how many are getting asked for and how many are actually getting delivered. Some principals have asked every year and haven't gotten a portable. So I think it would just give us more. So I'm just asking as a request, can that be brought back as part of the report to the board, the principal requests? So
Yes, we can provide that.
Okay, thank you. And then the Talbot is not slated to be done until December. but we're moving the portables, that's part of the plan, is that, oh, go ahead.
I believe Mr. Washington wanted to respond.
Okay.
I think Mr. Savage asked if he can speak to some of the facility questions
Microphone.
Okay.
that you. I think Mr. Savage can speak to some of the facility questions you had just right now, just to kind of
Okay.
alleviate some concern.
Thank you.
Good evening, Hcpss, Director of School Facilities and Operations. We have a very robust, through the years, we've looked at IEQ, and we've prepared a very robust preventive maintenance program. We go out and look at all the portables every year, and we're spending a lot of money, IEQ money and operating money, fixing these ahead of time so that we don't get to the point where they're detrimental to the staff and the students. The additional thing I wanted to make sure we know is we're also replacing some of the HVAC units in some of these so that we have outside air and better air quality, not just environmental quality. So.
And I know that we're in a much different place with relocatables than we used to be in the IQ focus on them. So I do appreciate that, you know that. I'm going to let my colleagues ask questions.
If you would like me to respond, I believe you were asking a question about Talbot Springs.
Yes, oh yeah,
Yes.
thanks. Yeah, because it's not supposed to be ready till December, but we have plans to use their portables as relief.
Correct. Talbot Springs, the way that it is phased is that the new facility will be operational for the start of the next school year. The remainder of the project, which includes the parking lot, the student drop-off, and the fields, cannot happen until the existing portables and existing facility are taken down. That's why the project in total is not going to be completed till December, but the school will be up and running for this coming school year, which is why the relocatables can be moved this summer.
Thank you. Ms. Mosley?
Does it matter to the team to do action today or action on the 24th?
Today is actually just the report, and then the action will be on the 24th.
Are we expecting any changes between now and the 24th or any additional information?
We can add, we can make motions. But usually what we do is the day that we're approving the report or, what their recommendations are.
The reason I'm asking is because on the 24th, we've already added to talk about the flexibility of, we've already added to the agenda. to
Well,
add
this
to
is
the
already on the
schools, so-
agenda for the 24th.
I know.
I mean, not the 24th, it's not,
Yes, it's the 24th. So I'm saying,
This is-
could this be done today? Or is the team ready to do this today or wait till the 24th?
We're ready when you are.
We're able to do it today. I guess it's more of a question for the board
That's what
members
I'm
if they would like to have any information.
Make that motion? All right, I motion to approve the installation of relocatable units for the school year 22-23 as assigned in the report.
Second.
Ms. Delmont Small, do you have?
Yeah, I too want to see the list of who asked and didn't get, because this is why I'm not going to vote on the motion, because I believe that could possibly impact some of the decisions as far as where we're putting the relocatables. And the other thing is, I had asked a question regarding, we have different programs that are located throughout the school system, and it appears that there isn't sort of a plan as to what we're putting where. And I would like to get something in writing from staff with regard to why we're choosing where we're putting what programs and how that fits in with the relocatables. Because I know that sometimes we have to move some of these programs after redistricting and so on and so forth. Because with space as a premium, I think we need a better understanding of regional programs as to how they are fitting into how we are dealing with capacity within the school system.
Understood.
Dr. Wu?
I have a question about Hammond. Why we still plan put 12 portable there? So after renovation, we increase like 200 capacity there.
The 12 classroom modular is still going to leave for the project. The plan was to relocate that modular this summer. In discussion with the construction team and the school, the plan is to leave the modular there only one more year, not after the project is complete, but to utilize the modular so that we can move the construction area away from the front of the school so that we can complete the bus loop at an earlier time than originally phased.
Okay,
But it will leave
I see.
after the project is complete.
okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Watts?
When you said nothing's going to change between now and the next meeting, do you typically give principals relocatables just because they ask for them? Or how do you make this decision? Because it's, obviously, there's a lot of work that goes into the creation of this report. Then if you know now that a principal is just asking for a relocatable, are you going to give it to them in the next 2 weeks?
The report is based on enrollment projections, capacities, and long-term and short-term capacity planning. And then that we distribute a survey to the principals and ask for their input into the process. So that's one of the data points that's considered in the process. If principals request portables, we review that. Oftentimes we go visit the school and to see firsthand the concerns that they're writing to us about. I do believe that 3 of the 4 that we're recommending here were requested by principals.
Okay, so you've already vetted the principals that
Yes.
have asked for the information and decided yes or no based on other data as well?
Yes.
Okay, so I kind of just want to throw that out there for board members. Like, it'd be nice to have this as an informational item, but it sounds like staff has already done their due diligence to ensure that they're bringing forward the correct number of relocatables and the location of those. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The Thomas Viaduct, I know we're converting space there to create more capacity. When is that supposed to be done?
That work is happening this summer.
Will it be available for the next school year then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's why they're not on there. Just a reminder that they would be getting another portable or needing one. We weren't spending money converting space to more capacity, so I just had to put that out there. But I see Ms. Watts' point about the principal request, but it's still, as a board member, I feel like I need to look, and if there's 4 requests at a school and they didn't get any, like, I think that's just something that a board member would want to know and maybe consider going to visit the school, not to, but just doing our due diligence as elected representatives. I expect that a vote, if we do it the next time, would be very quick, as it always is. So I would hesitate to vote on this until I had all the information I asked for before this meeting. So, Ms. Delmont Small, you are really out of, so you got to be, okay, thank you.
Do you want to postpone the vote or table it?
No, we have a motion on the floor, unless Ms. Watts wants to remove the table.
It's not my motion, but I'm concerned that if
it's
the
Ms.
motion
Mosley.
fails, then it fails. And what are we going to do at the next meeting?
We redo it.
We don't just redo motions, just 'cause
We can bring it
fail.
back forth, especially on the prevailing side, if
Okay.
it's the next meeting.
You don't need to do prevailing
Yeah, I
side at the
don't
next
even-
meeting. You
yeah.
can just come again.
Mrs. Harrison, you want to call the vote?
Sure. I have a motion by Ms. Mosley and a second by Ms. Watts to move approval of the staff recommendations for installation of relocatable units for the school year 2022-2023. Ms. Catronio?
No.
Ms. Delmont Small?
No?
Dr. Liu?
No.
Ms. Mosley?
Yes.
Ms. Watts?
Yes.
Dr. Wu?
No.
Motion fails 2-4.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers and Mr. Lubley.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving on to the Operating Budget Review Committee. Subject to the assignment of
No, no motion on
I'm
the
sorry.
floor.
I am so sorry. I'm so excited to talk about.